Attention, hot private. This is the War on Comics. I'm Colin.
I'm Omar.
And this is Swampy, my man, the Thing himself. You see him, you love him, you know him. We're cracking into the second of 6 volumes of the Swamp Thing anthology from Alan Moore. This is continuing. I'm trying to think of where the first one left off. We've introduced a lot of little bit esoteric ideas of the Swamp Thing being just a memory of Alec, the guy that died. We're going into spooky haunted happenings at the swamp.
It's getting more haunted, the swamp.
I think I am of the mind that these are almost better as single issues. Like each issue is kind of its own thing.
Like, would you say that's like episodic stuff?
Yes, I mean it's like X-Files or whatever. It's you know, Monster of the Week.
That's a great formula.
It works. It is interesting. Catch a little bit of whiplash going from Watchmen to this because it's something with Watchmen is so cohesive and thought out and like complete. Whereas this is kind of like, there's a monkey.
The Monkey King. And now we're going. Is this the one where we go to hell?
We got the what is it, Justice League Dark Annual.
Yeah.
We got a lot to get into with this one. I find this great, and it concludes this one with one of my favorite comic stories. And we'll get to that, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. Crack it open.
Let's get into
Let's go.
into the swamp.
So how do you like this one?
Number 2 was we went everywhere in this.
Yeah, there's a lot going on for sure.
There's the random aliens that come down, but the art, also the art. The art is really.
Yeah, I think Bette gets into. I don't know if he does this introduction. No.
Jamie Delumna.
Maybe it's in the next volume where I think Neil Gaiman talks about it a little too. Of essentially, it's tough to make a deadline, right?
Yeah.
And Bette has such obsessive artwork that you'll see different people doing either backup stories, filler issues, etc. And the name of the game is that Alan Moore can crank out these scripts, but everyone else can't necessarily. Bette can't necessarily keep up with them. And when you can give me shit like this, which that's a Bette one, right? Yeah, there we go. Feel free to miss some deadlines.
The art is so fucking brutal in some of these, which is it fits in how they have like a reprint, I think, in this series, right?
Or another, I think it's new work from him, if I'm not mistaken.
It's fucking ripping.
Yeah, but this is, one of those fill-in guys. And this cartoony style is like crazy to see.
Odd. What did you feel about because the backgrounds are usually super spot on with everything. But in this issue, I was digging how he feels the need, like he has to bury the past, so he has to go get Alec's body.
Yes,
or the
properly bury it to put him to rest.
Right.
So, and that I think comes up again in the annual. We see old Alec again. But I mean, I think my takeaway from this, and I might have talked shit last time about Stephen Bette having some jank moments, and he does.
There are.
But when you see someone who's like really good, like I like this art a lot, I don't necessarily like it in the context of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. You know, it's not necessarily. It changes the tone. I again just really like the Saturday morning cartoon style. You know,
that's exactly what it feels like.
And it's
This was cool though. I like that shit.
Yeah, and I think this is like the old Swamp Thing design, and I really realize that old Dave Sim from Cerebus, who I don't think we can go an episode legally without mentioning, I think he might have there's a lot more of the Alan Moore Swamp Thing DNA in Cerebus than I really understood before. Because I read the Swamp Thing books way before the Cerebus stuff, and I think enough time passed between them where I kind of didn't notice it. But this kind of obsession that Alan Moore has with the previous incarnations of Swamp Thing and with the continuity, I think there's a lot of that in Cerebus, in the sense of like,
Yeah.
Sim is very insistent on being like, well, here's why I drew him with a long snout early on, and just kind of fixing, I guess, some of the continuity.
In
so
the
it's like,
actual issues.
in the issues. So it's like, well, here's his old design, and here's why he had the old design, and here's,
And yeah.
it's kind of some of that same, I guess you could say, respect for continuity, let's call it.
And like conversation with the audience or the readers and stuff.
And I don't necessarily know how important that is. Granted, I'm not like a deep Swamp Thing guy.
Right.
So maybe if I had been reading regularly as sporadically as it was published, I would be like, okay, well then now they made good by fixing all these continuity issues or whatever.
So assuming that you were like maybe into the old stuff, like the Bernie Wrights and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess I could see some diehards. This issue was fucking gnarly.
Yes.
This
and
was so fucked.
Like, and this is such a grand re-entrance of Bette and what he can
Yeah,
do.
this is some
like
shocking shit.
just it's like, okay, yeah, by all means, take a couple months off, brother. Like, have some good fill-in guys.
Is it the guy, the famous painter that's like Hieronymus?
Oh, Bosch. Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah.
I kept thinking this is like
Interesting.
he's just looking at all that and just drawing the most evil shit. he
Yeah,
could.
it's so cool. And again, I'm not saying like this grandma, like anytime he has to do this kind of stuff, it's like often jank. He's just rushing through some things, but when he gets into like all the details of the roots, like I don't know, it's crazy to say someone coming in on the heels of Wrightson is like the definitive artist, but I'm inclined to say it with this run at least, because I just love when he's drawing. I think this like grimy ambiance, like even the jank, it kind of plays into that. The human faces are so distorted, and that like drop shadow stuff, it like just kind of lends to that grime, for lack of better words.
It's fucking. And she's just getting like the flashes of this. She can see through the ruse, right? Because of her arcaneness or something like that.
I think, or just sensing it, some kind of psychic connection. And now it's like an employment agency. Am I wrong?
Yeah. So he's employed by the it's like reanimation or something.
Okay.
Crazy, like a zombie take, and
she goes to the library and sees that those people are what do you call it? One of the ladies, their face she recognizes from this book of someone who died already, or like a crazed serial killer. That's a little bit of a Corbin right there, no?
Yeah, absolutely, that color.
That hyper realism. So cool.
Dude, this is. I mean, I fucking hate when you get mosquitoes and shit on you,
yeah.
but like this just creeps me the fuck out.
It's so good, and it's such effective horror. I don't know, like these layouts get really crazy, but
yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Sometimes I can't read them.
Yeah,
like, well.
I mean, it's Alan Moore's getting his stride,
Yeah.
like, and he'll bring it back, he'll ground you again, but then he'll also splatter it like crazy. Brother, this is like some Mortician record cover shit. Like, it's so good, and this like this color effect is amazing. This is so good. And yeah, it's like, again, this I think is sort of how these stories are, where it's just some scary fucking story each time, some horrific ordeal. Like,
this was so fucking cool. That Alfredo Alcala, I'm not sure where I've seen his work before, but I know it's like a presence in comics for sure. I've seen him somewhere, because this is super familiar to me, and so is this. I don't know if it's like just some fucking Tumblr shit or something I've seen before back in the day.
I mean, it feels very like horror movie poster art,
right.
Yeah, and I don't know that there's a whole lot to say from an analysis perspective. I don't think it's too meta-textural, but if you look at stuff like this,
and you need
Yeah.
more than what's going on.
I mean, this is all. I wouldn't say like it's like they're playing to genre at all or anything. They're kind of doing their own thing in horror. Like
Right.
I think we were talking about that last time. But the bringing in the like Joker and shit.
Yeah, Spectre. I mean, there's still, again, that conceit that this is in the DC universe, this is in continuity, this isn't some weird little pocket dimension where stuff is happening. They keep kind of reinforcing it, and I don't think it hinders them at all. Like, I
No
don't.
way, yeah.
I mean, granted, it's not like every week Superman shows up and beats the bad guy or whatever, but it's a question I ask myself, especially with a lot of like media adaptations, where it's like, why does this have to take place in this universe? You know, like you know, obviously you get that in movies a lot, where it's like I'm trying to think of like a Punisher movie or something. You know, I would say almost all the Punisher movies up until this point, it's like, why do we need to have this in the Marvel Universe? Because Punisher, the character, you absolutely need to set in the Marvel Universe. He needs to be in New York City, and he needs to interact with Spider-Man and Daredevil and other ground level guys.
Yeah.
And if you're not utilizing the universe, then you have to kind of justify why you're using that character, which doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when we're talking about zombies and this lady's ex kind of being embuggened. Yeah. It's like, that's all cool, but why do you need to have this be in the DC universe? And I think they kind of justify it enough, especially when you get to these like Justice League outposts and Arkham Asylum existing.
And like the Demon too.
And they don't, you know, Blue Beetle doesn't necessarily need to show up, but yeah, I think the annual is coming up here where it's just like, here's this one, and here's that one, and here's this one, and it's like, all right, you have now like explored the afterlife of DC Comics, you know, the DC universe.
It doesn't feel like how people would say, like it doesn't feel unearned in that issue too.
Right.
Like they really fit in, and just like in the context, this was a fucking weird issue. We'll see that one, but I dug it.
And
That's what we're talking about.
here's our annual, and this is maybe, you know, I don't know how satisfying of a read it is really. It's that's a fucking, I keep forgetting her name. You remember her name?
Is it Lori?
No.
Lonnie or some shit like that?
She's passed. You know, Abby. There we go.
Abby.
Abigail. So she is, you know, the living dead man, the arcane spirit or whatever, has made her body alive, but her soul is in hell.
Right.
And so this is Swamp Thing's journey to hell to get her back, which is cool, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's very, you know, it's a Greek myth.
Like the stranger in a strange land kind of shit.
And it's, you know, going, you know, Persephone being trapped in hell and you have to get her out. But if you're going to go to hell, make it DC hell.
Yeah.
Bring in all the spooks.
Yeah, literally.
Got some spooky guys.
Dude, Deadman, the stranger?
Yes.
Yeah, man. This was a really interesting take on like the journey into hell.
Yeah.
And here's the Alec bit where he
kind of reuniting with his former self in a sense. And I don't know, I keep
so fucking sick.
So sick. I do really like that idea of the Alec guy dies and is in a swamp with some chemicals, comes back as Swamp Thing, and they go to such pains in this book to be like, no, that was his consciousness, he is now something else. And I don't know, maybe it's just grounded enough to make sense to me, but I really appreciate it. And I don't know, maybe they do enough work of him like revisiting him and all that, and just really hammering down what Swamp Thing is as opposed to what he was.
Yeah.
And also, again, keeping it in continuity. It's I like it. It works for me. And that's Alan Moore's Tripper shit just coming into full effect. And here's the other Justice League Dark guy. We got the Spectre. This is just a tour of the like fucking the goth DC characters, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, if these were coming out and I was around as a kid, I would be eating this shit.
Of course, and there's Etrigan popping up, which we've seen in previous issues, but he's doing his rhyming thing here.
This was fucked, man.
So good. And yeah, he's just a co-worker of Etrigan, fellow demons, and yeah, they're just trying to get his gal back.
I like the idea of Etrigan like being half human now, and
Yes.
like how they kind of
It's
working that in. And
all the supernatural stuff just really works for me in this comic, and I think I'd like to believe it's just because Alan Moore cares enough to make it work. So here's our we're back. We got our soul back. Little annual detour. We got to see some good cameos. It's a fun issue for sure. But as for the story at large, there's a lot of diverging going on, and this is such a dumb issue. We're back to the guy that did the filler one before. So have you read Pogo comics before?
Okay, is that why it's called
Yes.
Pog?
Yes, it's just Pogo.
God.
And the whole connection, and I love like the Pogo character, like those are world-class comics. I've always heard, tale about how good they were growing up, and it's like Pogo. It's one of those things like Carl Barks Duck comics where you're like, oh yeah, I'm sure fucking Donald Duck comic's gonna be great, and you're reading, you're like, oh my god, this man is a genius.
It's amazing.
Yes, Pogo is like top shelf cartooning.
Okay.
I've only read a handful of them. I kind of feel like once you read one, you get it. Or maybe it's like Peanuts in the same way, where it's like, wow, this is amazing. I got it. And it's just they're terrific stories. So, but I think this is all just like Pogo is comics on a swamp, Swamp Thing is comics in a swamp. Let's make it happen. And so they kind of mimic the voice styles of the Pogo characters, and we get to have this kind of meta dialogue, I guess you would say, between the Pogo characters, critters, if you will. I think that, there's a possum character in Pogo, so he's like, oh, that's her, but obviously they can't talk to him because this isn't like funny animal world. This is the DC universe, which is kind of crazy, I guess. If we want to go really hardcore on it, like the Pogo characters just exist in DC.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Now they're in the DC universe.
I don't know if they address that in Final Crisis or whatever, but it's an interesting footnote that I appreciate.
So it's called Pogue.
Well, Pogo is the real comic. This is Pog, which is their trademark infringement free use version of it, parody or whatever. And they can't understand Swamp Thing can't understand them. They blast him with this stuff, and he's not too bothered because of course he's Swamp Thing. And this is going to be probably the introduction of something that the main theme that I take away from with these as these comics go on, which is this idea of intersectionality. Meaning, this is just a straight morality tale about not eating meat. This is like Morrissey is jacking off to this comic, and it's like a good 80s don't eat meat kind of story too. Now you get very weird when you start talking about issues of vegetarianism or veganism, because you get into these amino acid profile things, and it gets very deep. But back then it was simple. It was just like, hey, don't kill animals to eat them. And it's preachy, and it's corny. But I don't know. I love it. I love that there's I don't know. I appreciate the message of it all, and how much they were willing to stick their neck out and kind of alienate people and make people feel bad about eating meat, which some people do and some people will do. You're either going to annoy someone or make them sad.
Yeah, this made me sad.
If you're team don't kill cows, then you're kind of stoked on it. Which that's my team. So that's my bias coming through. But my point being, we're talking about environmentalism
Yeah.
and, animal cruelty and ethics and all these different things. And as the story goes along, or as this run goes along, you see a lot more of the kind of crossover with, like I said, this is environmentalism and animal cruelty, which maybe are a little bit married. And also this meta idea of the Pogo characters interacting with the Swamp Thing characters. So there's, comic nerd history stuff. It's all interesting, but I don't think it's always like single note because, basically they come to this planet because their planet was taken over by these carnivores and they see that we're doing the same thing. This is so fucking funny.
It's wild.
And this is where I love to see this fill-in artist because I don't know if Bette could draw this kind of it would be a little too dark.
It wouldn't work, yeah, like especially
Yes.
with these kind of the cutesy animals. that are in it.
Right.
This was fucked up.
So
man.
fucked. 'Cause,
This got me.
yeah, here's the cute cartoon alligator, and he sees his friends, and he realizes he's got they're not the same Swamp Thing. True to the cover,
Yeah, man.
I would think maybe you put the Pogo characters on the cover, but in the 80s, I don't know who was reading Pogo like that. So
Pogo's like a 30s, 40s?
no, it's a little later than that. I couldn't tell you exactly, but it's well into the 60s.
Gotcha.
And you're not reading that is crazy to me because I think of it as like a foundational comic. But now that I'm really putting it together, like I see people with Snoopy merch all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like last time I was at Comic-Con, there was the Moomin characters.
Yes.
There's like a Moomin booth about some Moomin socks, so I'm guilty
Sick.
of this kind of crass capitalism myself. But Pogo kind of has maybe lost a little shine in terms of, I don't know, its cultural relevance.
I mean, the first time I ever heard of Pogo was on Kayfabe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and those are the kind of
Yeah.
people that like really put respect on it. And when you read it and you see the cartooning, the skill of cartooning and proportions and
Yeah.
making cute things cute and all that, like from a craft perspective, those are like jaw-dropping. But yeah, I guess maybe even in the 80s, putting the Pogo guys on the cover isn't work as well as having them fight an alligator. So basically they realize we're fucked too and they take off.
Like this planet is just fucked. They're here too. These carnivores. And
Yeah,
shit.
I'm not so sure they're wrong about that.
Yeah.
And so here's our.
Another fill-in, I think.
But I
kind
mean,
of.
this is So you got. So you
Names
got
are somewhere.
someone doing. You don't get a full issue of rights and stuff.
Right.
But this is really interesting, and I want to do some research on this because we have Cain and Abel from the House of Mysteries and House of Secrets, who were the host, after the Comics Code comes into effect, EC folds, and DC is able to do horror stories, but kind of defang them quite a bit, and they have Comics Code approved horror stories. You ever read the House of Secrets or anything?
I've just seen the covers, just digging around.
I've never enamored with them, but I could kind of see why this generation was maybe drawn to them. And because the real, headline event is they play a big role in the Sandman comics.
Oh, sick. Okay.
And if my timeline is correct, this is the first time this is before the Sandman series.
Oh wait, Sandman from Neil Gaiman.
Yes.
Not Jack Kirby. Okay,
No,
got you.
Neil Gaiman, Sandman, and so I'm sure it's shared ideas and everything, and they're obviously these this is like their Crypt Keeper and Vault Keeper or whatever.
Yeah.
Is it Vault Keeper? It's not called Vault Keeper, is it?
I mean,
The Old Witch. I forget what
the
Vault-
one with that's like
who does Vault of Horror?
classic. That was an EC,
Because
right?
Tales from the Crypt is obviously Crypt Keeper, and then Vault of Horror
Where's that
is
Marvel?
someone else. It's all EC, but I'm just wondering what the mascot was. Anyways, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
These guys are the mascots for those comics, and if Alan Moore beat Neil Gaiman to the punch, it's interesting for sure. And not for nothing, but he comes up with this kind of filler issue gag to bring him back. and ... they're on a Netflix series.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And now we're doing our the Wrightson kind of retelling of it, and it's strange, man. I don't know this. Is this 80s Wrightson? Is it just a reprint?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Feels like prime era Wrightson, like
But it's
from
also
what I've
like
seen.
the inking. Like he must have just given them sketches,
Like
and they
super
just-
quick, right?
Yeah, and they just had someone else ink it and kind of
Because that reads
morph
Wrightson
some
to me,
character.
like
Yeah,
this
for
whole
sure.
position
and this like
stuff.
that lettering is of course an EC nod. I can't imagine Creepy used that lettering to my recollection, but and then we're back in the House of Mystery story, and it's just we're still just kind of fleshing out that what do you call it, that origin story, and reiterating it and sort of putting it in continuity for someone who picks this up for the first time. And it ends with Cain killing Abel, which is again what I don't know if they do that in the original House of Secrets comics, but they definitely,
To that
that's like
degree.
that's the gag they do on all the Sandman stuff that they show up in. And we get the poster galleries.
Feels kind of Three Stooges like.
Yes, and then we get to what I
This.
think is this comic. I'd say it changed my life, man. I really got to say it. I read it, when I was just trying to read as much Alan Moore stuff as I could, and you're breezing through Swamp Thing, you're loving the art, and this is to me where it turns into something else.
Nice. I felt like it was. I mean, these people will see it. It's gonna
Right.
be fucking. It'll blow your mind, and the Cerebus of it all.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes. But no, this was I mean I was didn't read this till I would have been like in my 20s. So I'd grown up on dollar comics and whatever, taking in what I could, knowing all the big superhero stuff and even indie stuff. I knew my hates, I knew my crumbs, I knew my 8 balls, all this stuff. But like this comic really did something to me, and I really am still really impressed. It's such, as a single issue, it's so mind-blowing.
I can't believe it's a single issue.
Yes, because in continuity again, we had this kind of divergence and a divergence and an abstraction with the annual, the Pogo gimmick, and like the just straight up filler issue where they're retelling the origin story. But our mainline story, Abby's back from hell. She's back alive. Swamp Thing saved her. Her proper husband, ghost husband, whatever it is, fully dead. So it's a little rushed how they get there, because she's just like, yo, let's fuck.
Yeah, basically is like.
How do we do it? But I don't know how we do it, yada yada. And like, I don't know, it's a little sappy, it's a little saccharine for sure. It's a little maybe something that maybe written by someone, by a guy in his 20s, or and probably written by a guy in his 20s for younger fans even, who maybe don't really know a lot about women, let's say, and are kind of basing their idea of romance off of maybe romance tropes.
Yeah.
It's a rough one. I don't know. I know we're having a kind of monster fucker renaissance right now with the Frankenstein movie and all that. I get that part.
Yeah.
But Frankenstein could still fuck a big old pile of vegetables.
I was gonna say.
We're a little far off, and like, I know relationships aren't all about sex, folks. I'm a romantic at heart myself. I understand that, but there's limits, in terms of starting a relationship with someone. This pose is crazy to me because it just looks like Julie from the Max comics.
Oh,
I
yeah.
spent way too long reading the Max as a kid, so
Dude, the
anytime
Max
something
had a
reminds me-
hold over the 90s, man.
chokehold on young Colin, let me tell you. So their solution to this, physical inadequacy, right, is old boy's gonna pop out a yam, pipe it to her, and
man.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It the conceit is the yams that grow out of his body, gross. As the later issues come out, I won't spoil too much there, but basically they reveal something about the person taking them, and obviously it's a stand-in for psychedelics of sorts. So like with the guy, I can never remember the
Fluoride
name.
man.
The
or
fluorescent man,
Yeah.
whatever I'm calling him. When that guy took it, obviously man, it's such a fascinating concept, because basically there's this connectivity you feel, right? His reaction to feeling connected with things was to say, I need to exterminate all human life on Earth because you're killing the biosphere, which I'm now feeling deeply connected to. And this is the only thing that makes sense, to kill all the people. And Abby takes it, and she feels this kind of,
her connection is
it's
really
it's
cool.
like a very much so love kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like the beauty of interconnectivity. And this speaks to me more now as I am older, that feeling of being interconnected, not just with other people, but with the biosphere. I mean, it's so hard as you go through life when you're meeting annoying people and you're dealing with annoying stuff, and you know, you're just have two IQ cells to rub together and feel just a boot of fascism and every disgusting kind of system of oppression just stepping on your throat and the throat of everyone around you. You can absolutely, I mean, I don't know. I just get to this very Ted Kaczynski mindset, you know, where it's like, oh yeah, just move to the woods and commit eco-terrorism. That's it. I'm the fluorescent man or whatever, you know, like I'm go that route, 100%. But this is the shit that's romantic, and this is the shit that's beautiful. The idea of, you know, being so overwhelmed by this interconnectivity that, like I get it. Like this communicates that feeling to me of being so connected and together, and you turn it, and again, old Sim, he cribbed this for sure. I think he maybe executed it a little better, yes, but
this was
going from that into the splash page, this is fucking amazing. All the multimedia, like Steranko shit, like coming out in full, just amazing. And it's, you know, this whole comic we've read up to this point is just fucking gore and vile and nasty demons and stuff, and that's cool. But like, you know, we're also showing like the beauty of like the female figure and this like there's grimness and gruesomeness, but that's kind of nature too. And obviously like
the little caterpillar in her stomach,
monstrous doses of psychedelia, you know. And this is, you know,
This was cool.
That's not really my bag, the whole psychedelic scene, but like I understand that's, you know, this is what you're getting into with that kind of stuff. You know, this is what you'd hope you get into.
Right.
If it doesn't crack your brain open or whatever, just make you want to talk too much and dance. Anyways, and then like, just naturally reading it, like this is so fucking smooth, like astonishing from a layout perspective, from a scripting perspective, like from just thinking about it in that way. Because I mean, we've all read comics where it's like now it's horizontal this time, or maybe the whole issue's horizontal, or however they do it. But doing that turn and guiding the eyes in that way, like this to me is like comics magic. Yeah. And this is something you can only get in this medium. I mean, arguably you'll see this in film when they play with like aspect ratio. You know? Or like if you watch a movie in IMAX, maybe when they go to like I always think of Dark Knight was like one of the only movies I really had like that like the chance to appreciate in the IMAX theater. But basically, you know, there's the long way, which is like 16:3. No, I forgot what it is. It's 16:9, I think, ratio, which is like basically your letterbox movie, and then 4:3 is like your TV set, or the old TV set, what TVs used to be like. And on older movies used to be shot in like a 4:3 ratio. So if you watch a black and white movie, you'll have black bars on the side of your TV. And if you watch, you know, a movie made past a certain point, it'll probably take up the full screen. That's why if you try to watch like modern versions of a lot of old TV shows, they will blow them up to. I don't know if you ever had the nightmare zone of trying to watch 90s Simpsons on like Disney Plus.
Horrible.
It's insane, and it's because of that aspect ratio stuff. So, but you can, a skilled filmmaker, and then IMAX goes even bigger. So, like in Dark Knight, which I think is one of the best uses of it, it's usually in the 16:9 ratio, And then when he's, let's say, flying over the cityscape,
Yeah.
boom, they go
Yeah.
IMAX. It's all fucking
It looks
big.
badass.
It looks badass.
Yeah.
But that's, there's only so much of that movie that was shot in IMAX, and all the scenes that were like action scenes or big landscape moments. And that's like, I don't know, jaw-dropping when your eyes affixed to that 16:9 ratio and then they blast it up. And I've seen it used in, really clever ways before as well, in other film ways. So you can do that in film. It's not like you can only do that in comics, but it's still like an expert, master fucking class in what comics can do at their most.
Right.
I'm sure we all have our favorite stories that are just, a Robert Crumb comic where it's just him talking all the time. Or like, Mouse is an amazing fucking comic that can make you feel and blah, blah, blah. If you want to like see something elevated, sure, 100%, not arguing that. But from a craft perspective and from like a technical idea of like doing layouts and stuff like that isn't just dialogue or whatever, this is astonishing, like a must-read single issue at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
And granted, you kind of have to read the whole thing up to them to really appreciate their relationship and blah, blah, blah. But like, if you can read if I had to like sell someone on the series with a single issue, it would be that. And maybe they'd be disappointed because in the rest of it, it's all goopy zombies and demons and bug people and whatnot.
I mean, it would. I think like if you read it as like the connection between her and the planet and stuff,
right,
it works really well
for sure. And that's again the kind of, if I go back to that theme of intersectionality, where it's not just about being in love with a plant man. It's the plant man and his relationship with the earth and your relationship with him and this like psychedelic journey and like the connection between psychedelics and that feeling of connectivity. It's not like, just a like, hey dude, let's trip out kind of thing,
It's got the levels like you're saying. That one I read twice because out of all of them, I was like, "Whoa, this is something different."
I think it's such a quantum leap forward, and this is this is around the time Watchmen is getting made. I can't. I don't know, man. I have no words for like my appreciation of Alan Moore.
You gotta read it. I think you have to read it to get like where you feel like how you're describing it, because I've heard of Swamp Thing so much. Like people talk about the rawness of it, the like I think later on in the third book we get into like more of the Americana stuff.
For sure. And
I've heard of that.
It's the politics gets amped up. It's definitely like, oh yeah, this is a Reagan era comic written by a British guy. It's very obvious what he's got going on there. And these earlier runs, like I said, I think that last issue is like, I don't know, I feel I'm trying to think of who it was. I think it was Bowie, where they talked about like every album of his has one song on it that kind of alludes to like the next chapter of what he does. Like you can kind of go through and find like, let's say on, like I want to say the Diamond Dogs is like the last record before like the Plastic Soul era, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't get into the reeds of Bowie stuff, but there's like one song on Diamond Dogs that kind of suggests the more soulful stuff. And there's one song on, there'll be like one track on, let's say Heroes, that will allude to, or I guess it would be Lodger at the end of the, the Berlin trilogy. And there's a song on that kind of anticipates the 80s coming up. And in a sense, I feel like this is like the issue that alludes to what's going to come. It almost feels like it's more a part of the next volume than these earlier ones, and because there is like a quantum leap forward from really good to great, and that's the issue right there. To me, that is greatness, like defined in a comic, and
feel it.
it ramps up to me in terms of quality and just how like I don't know, like addictive it is, page turning, you know, and I still say though that as much of a leap forward as that single issue is, leading up to it is still a really good read.
Yeah, I mean, everything up till that issue has been interesting, but I think reading it now that I'm digging into book 3 a little bit, I think Alan Moore had to clear out the way for this stuff.
I mean, there's not really a nice way of saying it, but like he got better. Like his earlier stuff is not that good, you know, and it's like I'll be corny and just say like it was Watchmen. Like there's a before and after Watchmen, basically in all of comics, and Alan Moore's no exception. Just because he happened to have wrote it, it's not he's not immune to that, because his writing got much better after that mid 80s period, which isn't to say his early stuff is bad, but it's not if he never writes after like these first handful of the Swamp Things, I'm not going to say he's the greatest comics writer of all time,
right? You
know, and frankly, even if he just does a Watchmen and dips, I'm not going to say that, but the body of work afterwards sort of like shows that he was not a one-trick pony, or that he had more to give, and that he was able to pivot and change, and all his changes were really engaging. So the early issues of Swamp Thing are kind of part of that earlier pre-Watchmen Alan Moore getting his shit together. And I don't know exactly what it is, but there's some turn that happens where he goes from being good to like not great, but like the best.
Yeah, and I agree.
Once you're in him being the best, it's like, dude, I fucking love Alan.
I think you're nailing it with this being probably one of the first great Alan Moore comics.
Yes.
And I mean, not to say that everything was, it just wasn't the voice yet.
Right.
It wasn't there yet, and you see it evolve in this series, I think. Because Watchmen hits the ground running, obviously.
Right.
We saw that. But this one is, I mean, it says on his bio that he started in 79,
right,
which is 4 or 5 years before this or something.
Yeah, and he was on the 2000 AD tip, so it was so like
wild.
And as a fanboy, I have been tricked many a times into buying, comics with Alan Moore's name gigantic on it, and it's just 2000 AD reprints, and I always want to really like him, and I always want to see something deep in him. What was that one Fire comic?
Yeah, the one that backs the burner.
Backs the burner. Right. Like it's not like you read that and you're like, oh, this sucks. It's like, okay, it's cool, but it's not.
It doesn't
turning. It's not this like fleshed out psychedelia. Like radical reinvention of the medium.
This is fucking amazing.
This is on a fucking rack next to Secret Wars. Like this is on the rack next to X-Men comics. I mean Claremont X-Men, which are great and everything, but it's like, I mean,
this is something different.
Frank Miller did it, and like there's a lot of comics from this period that are like really, really good superhero comics. I would say probably the best superhero comics ever made. John Byrne, Frank Miller, George Perez, like they're all firing on all cylinders. They're making, for my tastes, like being my age and everything, I think the best superhero comics. Yeah. But this is transcendent.
Yes. Yes.
This is, and like and it's not like, just get to pick up a Frank Miller comic or something. It's like, those are widely heralded as some of the greatest of their kind, and it's like, to be just smoking even those guys, and that's before you get into like, just the dregs of what was coming out in the mid 80s, like I think we're still DC proper with this. Like we don't even have Vertigo.
Yeah.
There's like Marvel graphic novels and like, cool independent stuff, Ninja Turtles and like Elf Quest and Cerebus, of course, but like it's still so unique against just that landscape and how the just evolutionary leap he takes like month to month at this point is astonishing for me. And yeah, I just find him a completely compelling writer, and this is like the last of the less than completely enthralling moments. Like it gets better from here, and I love these comics. Like the ambiance, the atmosphere, the marriage between art and words. Like it's all top shelf comics, and then it gets better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on that issue. That's what we've read the book, these two books, but this issue is what like, okay, I'm digging it now.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right,
it's on for sure.
So I think, I mean, I just started digging into book 3.
Yes,
and already it feels like, this is fucking Alan.
That one starts with like Nuke Face, right? Yeah, so good. So we're gonna get through it all. I hope you guys get through it with us. Yeah. Keep tuning in. We're all gonna appreciate our British King here. And till then, at ease.